Enter quiet firing, seemingly the employer's retaliation, or is it? Hey guys, my name is Preston and welcome to another video. In case you didn't know, I'm a full-time professional tech recruiter, and part of doing this job is staying up to date on what's happening in the job market right now. If you didn't see my previous video on career cushioning, make sure you check that out. I'll leave a link in the description box below. But basically what it talks about, besides the recent phenomenon of career cushioning we've been seeing, is also quiet quitting. So what is quiet quitting? Well, long story short, it's employees doing the bare minimum, showing up exactly on time and leaving exactly on time, as well as not taking initiatives or going above and beyond. Now, on one hand, this might just sound like, well, you're just doing your job. And that would be correct, technically. But we're interested in the psychology behind it. When someone is behaving that way, it usually means they're asking to be fired. And being fired comes with benefits like unemployment pay that quitting yourself doesn't. So enter quiet firing, seemingly the employer's retaliation, or is it? Quiet firing is one of those things that feels kind of new, even though it's actually quite old, at least as a concept, although it does seem to be growing in popularity lately. So then what exactly is it? In a nutshell, it's either excluding an employee from group activities and meetings, or relegating them to pointless busy work, basically trying to make them quit via frustration. Companies may choose to quietly fire employees due to stagnant budgets, performance issues, or concerns about difficult financial times ahead. Or they just don't like someone and have chosen a passive-aggressive stance. So we know the who, we know the what, we know the why, and the where, so now we're only left with how. Quiet firing can be done in several ways, but generally it means restricting where and how people work, removing work benefits and perks, increasing emphasis on performance, neglecting or excluding employees from those important meetings, and denying career advancements or salary increases. So let's break it down further piece by piece. Denying future advancement. A common indication of quiet firing is the absence of career progression, as employees targeted for termination are frequently overlooked for promotions and other opportunities. In healthy workplaces, managers provide a clear criteria for advancement to the next level of one's career. However, in quiet firing scenarios, managers frequently shift the goalposts, making comments like, "You weren't the ideal candidate for this role," or "perhaps next time." They may also offer the possibility of promotion without actually following through, or simply say, "We'll see." Regardless of the method used, the outcome is stunted career growth. Those quietly fired often observe their colleagues advancing while they remain stagnant. Denying salary raises. Quiet firing often involves using compensation as a tool to push employees out of an organization. Once a decision is made to let an employee go quietly, their manager may refuse to grant requested raises or renegotiations of compensation packages. Alternatively, the company may also offer a pay increase that is significantly lower than what was requested to create the appearance of being reasonable. Although the employer may make vague promises about potential future raises, they are unlikely to materialize. This tactic can be a strategic move to motivate employees to leave the organization in search of better compensation packages elsewhere. Overworking or underworking. Overwork or underwork, both of which have a negative impact on an employee's career. Hourly employees may find that their scheduled shifts are reduced, making it difficult for them to maintain their standard of living, especially visible when their coworkers are able to. Another move, one that's basically the same thing but in the opposite direction, is managers assigning fewer tasks than necessary to certain employees, hoping to leave them feeling bored and unchallenged. For salaried employees, managers may require overtime or assign an excessive workload that cannot be completed during regular working hours. Managers may also wait until the end of the day to assign difficult or time-sensitive tasks, or even contact employees outside of working hours for non-urgent matters. Quiet fires often vary the workload from one week to the next, making it difficult for employees to plan their personal lives. Although managers may be careful not to cross ethical lines, the end result is the same. Employees that are going to feel dissatisfied with their workload and have no means to address the situation. Exclusion. Quiet firers rely on isolation as a tactic to undermine an employee's job satisfaction. In addition to neglecting the employee professionally, managers may also encourage coworkers to distance themselves from the employee. This may not always be explicit. Coworkers may still engage with the employee on a surface level, but exclude them from social events such as group lunches or after-work activities. Managers may also assign the employee solo work while giving group projects to others, or even move the employee to a different area or shift where they have less interactions with colleagues. These tactics may be subtle, but the impact on the employee is significant. The employee may feel disconnected from the team and company and may become more likely to leave. no feedback or support from managers. Quiet firing can also be identified by lack of feedback provided to employees. Instead of offering guidance or constructive criticisms, managers who engage in this practice may view coaching as a waste of time and mark employees as lost causes. They may avoid conducting regular one-on-one meetings or performance reviews and withhold positive recognition and praise. The instructions given to employees may be vague or incomplete, and the requests for feedback or constructive criticisms may be met with dismissive responses such as, "You're doing fine." In some cases, these managers may disappear altogether and be slow to respond to messages. When performance reviews are conducted, they may be minimalistic and lacking in specific suggestions for improvements, with the manager simply providing a score without elaboration. If they are present, managers may repeatedly fail to provide essential information or resources to the employee, even when requested. They may withhold encouragement and neglect to motivate the employee or even guide them towards new challenges and opportunities. In addition, they may not offer assistance in resolving problems or defending the team members against scrutiny or pushback from others. While management may not actively oppose the employees, they do not act as allies either. A little dark if you ask me. Busy work. Victims of quiet firing are often assigned the most undesirable of tasks. While every job has its unpleasant elements, getting consistently assigned dull, meaningless, and terrible tasks can be a huge sign of incoming quiet firing. Managers who are quietly firing an employee may strategically assign the worst tasks to their targets in hope that the employees will just become frustrated and decide to quit. It honestly seems kind of sad that any behavior like this would ever occur in the workplace, but the reality is it does. You might be thinking, well, why don't you just fire the guy? And yeah, that makes sense, but it also begs the question, who's actually going to do the firing? People are so averse to conflict in organization that organizations will literally outsource and hire consultants to come in and do the firing for them. So is this just passive aggressiveness, or is there a reason they just want you to just quit? And why are they doing all of this in the first place? Let's explore some of the reasons. Lack of potential in employee. Management might see an employee as having hit a plateau or having less potential than their peers. This can lead to a decision not to invest more time or energy into the employee, as they may believe that such efforts will not produce worthwhile results. It's important to remember that sometimes an employee fails to meet expectations not because of a lack of passion or skill, but because they require a different management style or level in support. In many cases, these employees are able to perform better and achieve success under the guidance of a more capable and supporting leader. But don't tell that to any managers. Saving money. Quiet firing can be used as a strategic tool by some companies to avoid creating an exit plan or paying severance or unemployment benefits. Instead of taking responsibility for the employee's departure, the company shifts the onus, the burden, on the employees to resign. This tactic is often used to save the organization from incurring hiring costs associated with finding a replacement. However, this approach can cause significant stress for the employee. Organizations may also use quiet firing to cut costs by targeting higher paid employees. In this case, managers attempt to push well-paid employees out of the company to replace them with less experienced and lower cost hires. Personal issues. At times, quiet firing may be initiated by managers who simply do not get along with certain employees. This could be due to clashing working styles or personalities, or even the manager siding with other team members who dislike the targeted worker. While managers are expected to remain objective, supportive, and professional, they are also human and susceptible to biases, negative emotions, and tribalism. Exceptional managers recognize and work through such perceptions, while mediocre ones kind of give their impulses and resort to borderline bullying tactics to force certain employees to quit on their own. Trust me, it's not pretty. So it basically boils down to management, pettiness, and not having the guts to fire someone. Keep in mind that even though the middle management often gets the flack for these indiscretions, it's often that decisions come from the top. The C-suites don't often realize how their actions affect those below them and forget that it's people who are going to be facing decisions that they make. So we've talked a lot about the methods and reasons for quiet firing, but what about the effects on the organization and people? The way I see it, besides the reputational hit and overall toxicity, there's 4 main reasons divided into 2 main categories: internal and external. Internal. Low morale and bad teamwork. Low morale is one of the most noticeable impacts of quiet firing. Naturally, the targeted employee will feel demotivated and unsatisfied. Coworkers may also suffer from the collateral damage as well. Mistreating certain employees, regardless of how subtle it is, makes it difficult to maintain a positive working environment. Working as a team becomes challenging when a team member is ostracized. Coworkers may feel resentful that the target employee is not pulling their weight, which may lead to team conflict. By isolating specific team members, quiet firers may deprive the rest of the team of their potential contributions and the role that they should be playing. At a minimum, team dynamics will be disrupted. In modern workplaces, collaboration is essential, and singling out specific team members members makes true collaboration absolutely impossible. External, high turnover and recruiting issues. Quiet firers may initially target individuals, but their actions can also have a ripple effect throughout the entire organization. Employee resignations can trigger a domino effect, leading to multiple departures as others become dissatisfied with management's behavior. The mistreatment of one team member can also cause surrounding employees to feel really uneasy and worried about their own job security. And pushing out a less favored employee, quiet firers risk alienating and losing star employees too. The negative impact on the employer brand can also be quite significant. While quiet firing may be perceived as a way to avoid negative publicity from layoffs, the lack of transparency and honesty can also still harm the organization's reputation as a great place to work. Few professionals want to work with an organization that is not upfront about performance expectations or the possibilities for growth. Such a reputation can make it challenging to retain and recruit talented employees. So, is this as insidious as it sounds, or is this just an unintentional oversight? Well, often a bit of both. Believe it or not every corporation or boss or manager is out to get you. Mistakes happen, it's called human error for a reason. But when they don't, it can be downright awful for people and companies. Morale and spirit. The money you save on unemployment or severance pay probably isn't worth the stressful environment that's being created. So with all of this said, please tell me and share with me. Have you noticed behavior like this in your workplace? Have you been a victim of quiet firing, or have you quiet fired someone yourself? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, really appreciate you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider giving a recruiter a support by liking and subscribing and click that bell. Feel free to also follow me at Preston_Park as I try my best to also post behind the scenes content daily. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you on the next one.